Tonight we honor TS Bank, our corporate champion of children and community. TS Bank and its employees embrace their mission to create community prosperity in the communities served. Faith, family, farming, and financial stewardship provide the foundation for TS Bank's reinvestment through outreach, event sponsorships, donation to local nonprofits, support for local schools, and employee volunteerism.
Trainer State Bank was chartered in this community in 1923, and I had the opportunity to come home in 1972 from the military and got involved in banking and an ag loan officer hoping to farm. God had other plans for me.
His boss was only 41 or 42, the Grenstall family, Bob Grenstall, and one day Mick told him he was planning to leave to take another job, and Bob said, "Why don't you just buy the bank?" And Mick said, "Do you have change for a $5?"
And I became a banker and a bank owner. And so at the age of 31, I bought Trainer State Bank.
And I helped Mick with the bookkeeping, and we learned at that time that we worked well together. He had the ideas, and I was the implementer. What we were able to start doing, the very first things was, he said, let's have a newsletter. And so that newsletter went out to our clients, but we also expanded that to people who were non-clients. When he was growing up, there was a watermelon feed at the fair, at the county fair, and it had been discontinued. He said, that's one of our first projects. Let's start having a watermelon feed. And today, we still have that watermelon feed after the livestock show. And the other thing was homecoming. Let's make sure we have an open house. And Josh had joined the family bank, and he said, let's go up to the TRA, the Trainer Recreation Area, and have lunch and discuss some business. And while we were there, he said, you know, we all want to be able to give more. Let's just take a napkin, and each of us take a napkin and write on the back of that, what percentage would we like, in our biggest dreams, would we like to be able to give back to the community? We each turned our napkin over, and each of us had written 10%.
We are giving back to the community, but it's really an investment, and I fully expect that there is a return, not necessarily to us, but to the community and to future generations. And in banking, I quickly learned, probably even before I was in the bank, that the reason that our bank, Mick and Judy, have been so involved in giving back to the community is that without a community, you don't have a community bank. And so by us reinvesting back into that community, like other businesses, we know that it comes back. Other things that we've done for youth or are involved in is through Vision Trainer Group, financial literacy, 4-H. Definitely one of the biggest focuses of our giving back is through the youth, or what is going to impact that youth. And we're really looking at it to change future generations.
By living these values, lives are changed.
So Children's Square is a huge, huge part of who we are and who our family is today, not just by recognizing their support of the community and what they do in the community, but what they've actually done in our family.
When we were trying to decide what our relationship with Cheyenne would be going forward after having known her for 6 months as a youth leader in our church, I spent a lot of time praying about our relationship with her, and it just happened to be, I think it was National Foster Care Awareness Month. And on the radio, there was a verse that came across, a Bible verse that said, religion that God our Father accepts as pure and faultless is to look after orphans and widows in their need and in their distress. And once I heard that verse, I just knew we needed to do something more.
What's interesting is how much we've learned. As Mick said, a lot of people are like, oh, Josh and Shelley have, done so much for Cheyenne and really changed her entire life. And we're like, yeah, she's changed our entire life.
Cheyenne was truly the introduction to Children's Square for us. And then our bank family decided that we really wanted to be involved in some way in the Santa Claus project at Christmas time. And I mean, they've just come together as a group and are willing to use money that we raise throughout the year when we're wearing jeans on Fridays, and then they contribute extra money or buy the gifts, and then we go in and put on a party. It's just all evolved, and Mick became Santa Claus, and then a year or two later I became Mrs. Claus, and And it's just been a wonderful experience.
Realize this, but this isn't the first Jason Award that we're getting. Cheyenne was our first Jason Award. Cheyenne is a walking, talking Jason Award.